We begin today's press review in Nigeria, where Nigeria's Minister of Communication, Adebayo Shitu, announced that China has agreed to pay $550 million for the procurement of Nigerian satellites. You can see that on the headline of Premium Times. The minister explained that the initial agreement was that the China Exim Bank would provide 85% of the total cost, while Nigeria would pay the remaining 15% as counterpart funding for the projects. However, Nigeria could not be able to meet her obligation in paying the counterpart funding, and the agreement was renegotiated with the China Exim Bank and the manufacturer of the satellites, that is, the China Great Walls. On Wednesday, Adebayo Shitu updated President Muhammadu Buhari on the approved procurement of 2 new satellites during a closed-door meeting. The minister stated that the new satellites would ensure that the Nigerian satellite company, that is Nicomsat, would conquer the entire African continent in regard to the provision of satellite communication services. Forum on China-Africa Cooperation website is talking about China's decision to ban all trade in ivory and ivory products. The government of Tanzania and conservation organizations have hailed China's decision, saying the move offered hope for the future of elephants in Africa. I beg your pardon. Tanzania's permanent secretary in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, Major General Gaudence Milanzi, said, quote, "China as a country has been at the front line in fighting poaching," end quote. He said China's efforts have helped to bring down poaching levels in Tanzania, calling upon other countries across the world to follow suit. China's State Forestry Administration recently said China has honored its commitment to ending commercial processing and sales of ivory by the end of 2017, adding it was China's New Year gift to the elephant. The move affects 34 processing enterprises and 143 designated trading venues, with all of them to close in the world's once largest ivory market. And it was all a surprise when power couple and one of Hollywood's most admired sweethearts, Boris Kodjoe and Nicole Ari Parker, were introduced as guest hosts of the 2017 Confederation of African Football Awards held in Ghana's capital, Accra, on Thursday. Face to Face Africa says they looked stunning and adorable as Nicole spoke English while Boris struggled to keep up with French to welcome the over 1,000 bilingual guests at the Accra International Conference Center and the millions around the continent watching the show live. Face to Face Africa says they were supported by the main hosts of the event, former Ivorian football star Didier Drogba and South African journalist Carol Shabalala, who introduced award winners, while Boris and his wife introduced the African artists billed to perform at the star-studded event. If you didn't know, Boris Kodjoe is of Ghanaian descent and he never shies away from it. He visits the country regularly and has reconnected with his Ghanaian father's family. The prestigious African Player of the Year 2017 award was given to Egyptian star Mohamed Salah, while the African Women's Player of the Year went to Nigeria's Asisat Oshola.